Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I'm doing Chibi Friday and I've picked a picture of another one of my pets. I'm going to continue with the order that I was doing that I started last time, which was smallest to biggest. So last time I did a Chibi Friday in physical media, I drew my black Manx cat Kiba, and so now the next biggest cat we've got, the next biggest pet, is my cat Kiki. And she's like an American Shorthair, but she's not one of those like really perfect, like purebred ones. She's like, you know, the kind you get at the pound. So I've got this super cute picture that I took of her around Christmas time, and I'm gonna try and draw it as a chibi. It's an interesting pose. Her head, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to do her head here and then just the body kind of sticking out the back. Because actually the way the picture is, with normal real life proportions, her head is here, and then you can see her chest here, and then her back curves here, because the angle of the picture is straight down on her and she's meowing up at me, and then her little tail sticks out and it's super cute. So I've never tried such an angle with a chibi. Hopefully it works. If not, then it was a fun experiment. So let's get started with it. Draw the big circle for the head first. Just realized the chat room looks really different on Twitch. I'm running a little bit late today because I was on the phone with the credit union and it took them way longer to look into my problem than I expected, or I wouldn't have called them. I called them at 10, so it took them like 20 minutes. I just wanted to know what they did with the money when they closed my savings account. Like, it shouldn't take that long to figure it out. It was like nobody knew where my money went. Eventually they figured it out, but dang. Okay, now the body. I still want it to be chibi proportions. Well, you know what? It's kind of bugging me. I drew this too low. Because actually her body comes not straight out the back. It comes a little bit down out the side too. That probably doesn't make any sense without seeing the picture, but it'll make sense once I'm done with this. Oh dang it, where is my... I need my eraser shavings brush. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go look for that. I think I know where it is. Yay. It was in the same canister as usual with my large paintbrushes. So even though all my stuff is in boxes, I knew which box it was in. I just love this thing. I have to have it. I have to have it for my drawing. Okay. Now, I want to draw this circle for her head. I guess I gotta make sure to leave room for her ears. So not too high up, but higher than I had it. And I'm using a 3H pencil, just like last time, because if you use a hard pencil, when you know you're gonna just be inking and then erasing the excess graphite, using the light pencil makes it so that it erases really cleanly. And as long as you don't press too hard when you're sketching, you won't even leave indentations on the paper. So her body is just this cute little round thing coming out like this. It's not perfectly round. Kind of comes out a little bit straight, then rounds where her back is. all the way down. And then it's kind of straight again for her sides. And then actually, you can see, thanks to her coat pattern, that her leg is right here. I'm going to try to make it small because I still want to get that chibi proportion look. Well, even though this leg is like not even showing at all, I still want to make sure it looks small enough to be a chibi leg. Yeah, once we add the ears, I think that the head will look like a good chibi proportion. I mean, even in this picture I'm looking at, because the angle is from, you know, like the camera is closest to her head, and then her body is directly under her head, the proportions are still way off from reality. Well, let's see. And her tail comes out. It doesn't come out in the middle of the back like you might expect it, actually, because of the angle of the picture. If you can hear meowing, that's Kiki. She's getting really bored in our temporary lodgings. She wants to go out into the main area of the house, but we don't want her to. At least not unsupervised. Clean up these sketch circle lines so they don't get in my way when I start drawing more permanent features. I still think that this body is a little big for Chibi. Now Kiki's in the window. I don't know if you can hear, but she's like exploring. Okay, I want this to be smaller, chibi sized. Dang, my lamp is really shining on my paper. The only problem with that is I think the body is going too far out now. Just want it to be a little shorter. Yeah, this is a really unusual pose that I have never tried to draw. I don't think I've ever tried to draw a cat in this pose, period, much less a chibi altered proportions cat. But I really have been wanting to challenge myself and not just do a cat from the side or whatever, a cat from the front, because I've done so many of those and it's starting to get boring. So now I think these are pretty good. I'm wondering if, so in the picture technically her tail does curve down like this, but I'm wondering if for the sake of the picture, for the drawing itself, maybe I should draw the tail curved up. But I think I'll do the ears first and see what they look like, because it might make a nice what do they call it, psychic line if the tail curves up, because her ear right here, this one in the reference photo, is curving quite a bit, and so that curve could connect with this curve instead of being like it curves down but then it kind of just goes nowhere off the page. Just the tail just leads off the page to nothing. So I think I probably will change this, but let's do the ears first and see. So along the top of her head, this ear comes straight out because her head is tilted way back, meowing, looking straight up, and her ear even comes out a a little bit farther than the side of her head. It kind of comes straight down like this. And the other one, yeah, I think that's another reason to change the tail, because for the chibi proportions, this ear is going to cover up this part of the body. So see, it comes across, maybe right about here. Comes up, and they're both about the same height. So it needs to come and meet maybe here. There's a little bit of an angle right here on her ear. And then meets at the side, almost at the same place, when her head's tilted this way a little bit, so it actually comes down a little farther. You can see a little bit more of the ear, so I'm gonna see. It angles a little bit on this side too. It comes down and then angles. But it doesn't just end there, it keeps going in. This little flap that kitties have is right here. And then this flap that comes straight down in line with her cheek. But does this look big enough? And straight down. Maybe if I erase the lines in the middle. I want my smaller eraser. My little travel pencil bag is getting really full. But I love this pencil bag. I love the fabric it's made out of. I got it on Etsy. Someone who made them with proper Japanese fabrics, not just like Asian inspired fabrics. You can just tell the difference. So yeah, I love it. And it's got little gold thread in it. I don't even know if you can see that. So even though it's getting really full, and I might do better with a bigger bag, I just keep using it. Plus, making myself keep what I can in a smaller bag means that I'll always be able to bring it with me. That's the whole point of this bag. If I keep going up and up in size, I'm going to be carrying my whole arsenal of tools with me. Alright, how's that? Okay, maybe what's bugging me about this is the head. Her head is actually pretty flat. It's just kind of bumpy from those wrinkles that cats have on the top of their heads. So for now I'm just going to draw a straight line, and then I'll draw the wrinkly bumpies when I do more details. How's that look? Does that look more even? The ear size? Man, with my lamp it's like you guys can't even see. Oh well, once I start inking it should show up. That's what's tough about my temporary workspace is I just have this one little area that's really great. It's got this nice table and everything, but it's also my computer table, so I've got like my monitors right there, and my lamps are like right here. I just kind of feel like this ear, maybe I'm curving it too much. Something about this ear is not satisfying. Okay, I think that's a little better. Now maybe, I think I just want this to come out a bit further. It just doesn't seem quite big enough. It should be at least the same size as this ear. It feels like, yeah, I'll bring it out a little bit too. Ah, that's better. I feel much better about that. Okay. And this is going to be a hard part. Her head is not exactly... See, there's a line here. Maybe if I figure out where her nose goes. It's like pretty much smack dab in the middle. Little nosy. Just drawing a circle for now, just to place it, because I want to get these curves of the face. She's got a curve right here that matches with this part of her mouth. And then this side is just pretty smooth. So I'll just draw this. Comes down like this. And this just comes down. Then this part also kind of fluffs out a little bit in a curve. And it actually fluffs out some more here for the fur of her neck that sticks out. And that's kind of divided right here. And then it meets this. But that's not all. And then we got the mouth. Comes down like that. This side is actually pretty much all black because it's just really deep in shadow, and then her gums on the outside of her mouth are black. This curves up. And there's her little tiny teeth, and those actually curve down. And let me draw it like this. Oh, actually it's good to look at it like this because this looks uneven. I'd like it to look even from any angle. And if you heard a bunch of jingling, that was Kiki again. She's feeling hyper. Okay, so I need this to curve out more, fluff out more. Let's erase some of this even teeny tinier eraser. Halfway point of her face. Okay, let me draw a guideline for the halfway point. So the picture is not exactly on. Her face is actually turned a little bit this way. Okay, get rid of this guideline. It's bugging me. I think maybe it's because I need to redo this whole line. Something about it doesn't seem right. Seems off. So it comes down from the ear. And then this part actually comes out, and it's the fluffy part. She has a really round face. But maybe I'm exaggerating it too much. And this side. I'm not liking this side either. Dang it. I guess it doesn't come out as much as I was doing it. It's a really gentle curve. Barely noticeable. Okay. I'm gonna go on from there. Now her nosy. Just draw her nosy. Sort of curves here. Comes up there. And then here's our other nostril. It actually comes all the way up. On this side, there's a little black line right there. And this line comes down to her upper lip. And we've got this. And then this one. I think I need to shorten this line. A bit big. Yeah, this is how the mouth goes because of the angle of the picture. This line goes out much further than this one. And fix this line for bottom teeth. And then her pretty little canine teeth on each side reach up to the lip, the upper lip. And there's a line right here, but you can't really see much else in her mouth. You just see that it's kind of darkish red. Now, her black, I guess I'll call it outer gum, I don't know, her black lip or something, comes straight down and then connects with this line. And all this stuff is black. She's got lots of white whiskers. You can really see these dots, these shadows in the fur where the whiskers grow out. There's not actually any coloration on the fur here. It's just that it's clearly there because of the whiskers making the dots. Coming out, casting a shadow. But on the other side you can't really see them because she's lit from this side. There's a window over here. I know from when I took the picture. The window was shining brightly from this side onto her. So you can see these on one but not the other side. Yeah, I'm glad I spent that time fixing the edge of the face, the edge of the head, because I think it looks much better now. Okay, now the most chibi part, drawing some huge eyes. First I just start with circles to get them placed right. So it always looks super creepy at this stage. It's like huge empty sockets. Oh, I think I see what problem is. erase this. Because this eye is too close to the nose. I think it's because this side of the face, even though I just said I was happy with the face, with the outline of the face, it's too close to the nose. There's more space on this side. So let's draw it one more time. Draw it a little bit farther out this time. It's another good reason to use a soft pencil and a soft hand, because if you keep having to make little changes like this to get the proportions right, then it causes a lot of erasing. I don't think erasing is a problem. Some people subscribe to the philosophy that if you have to erase, you should just start over instead of continually erasing, but I don't think so. I mean, maybe if you're just erasing every single thing you do, then sure, you should probably start over. But if you're like, oh no, I need to redraw this thumb or something, just go ahead and erase it. Don't draw the whole thing over again just because of one little finger. There, now the eyes are evenly. This eye in the picture is actually slightly bigger because of the way she's angling her head this way just a little bit, just the slightest little bit. So this eye needs to be slightly bigger and take up more room. So even though they're chibi eyes, I still want them to meet with the nose the way that they do naturally. Let's do this one. Her eye is actually kind of closing a little bit because of her meow that she's right in the middle of. It comes down, and the corner of the eye on a cat generally meets with the outside corner of the nose. I'm going to add that corner coming down. And then Kiki's got a nice just round right here. There, let's erase the extra lines. And we went from creepy to angry on one eye. They always look angry at this stage till I get all the color and shading done. Okay, the other eye is not closed quite like this one with this harder line. It is a little squinty looking. But it's mostly round on the top and bottom line. I want this to hit this outside corner of the nose. And then you can see a little point here on the outside of this corner of the eye, on this eye. Can't really see it on the top eye. Let's erase and make sure it looks good. Okay, my lamp is just so intense I can't see because it's reflecting as if the graphite is just so shiny. And it is kind of shiny, but okay, I want to even this out a little bit. I think that's going up a little too much right there. iris is actually there. Same thing here. Iris comes around here. And the inside part of our eye is right there. And right here. I've really wrinkled up this paper. I'm rough on this piece. Okay, I think this little part's bugging me. It doesn't match the other side. Oh, that's so much better. Yeah, I just ended up doing her face round after all. Trying to add in those little, I mean, maybe I'll be able to get those curves I'm seeing when I draw the fuzzy fur. But it just wasn't looking good for a chibi. It wasn't looking cute, and that's the whole point of a chibi. It's supposed to look super cute. This is how the photo actually is on the side. Okay, I think I need to bring this corner of the nose in a little bit, because it's not really showing that her face is at an angle, and I think it's partially because the nose looks so even. But since it's at an angle, this side needs to look shorter, and this side needs to look longer. Okay, now let's do some of the ear stuff. There's little lines here. And this is just a lot of fur, so I'm going to wait until I start inking to fill that in. This side though, there's a little solid fur right there, and this is pretty distinct. And I'll just let that side be. Okay, back to the tail. I do think that it's a good idea to stray from the reference image for the sake of this art piece and curve it up instead of down. I gotta erase the lines entirely. And in fact, I think I'll move the tail a little bit farther away from the ear, because they were like basically intersecting right here. I'm gonna move it in a little bit. And I don't want to make it too long because it's chibi, so it needs to have little short tiny tail. Because the farther along my chibis you go, the farther to the extremities, the tinier everything gets proportionally. That's why it's, unless it's really important to the character or whatever, I don't draw toes or fingers or anything. It's just so small, you can't even see them. They don't even exist anymore. Yeah, I think that's better. Just better for the but if it is curving this way, maybe I should put it up here. Just completely reverse it so it was coming out the side down here. Maybe I should actually draw it up here, and it might balance out the drawing. So right now I feel like it's kind of unbalanced. No, I just realized that my video stream's upside down. Dang, dude. Wonder if I can fix it real quick. I'm gonna flip my camera around, be ready. Oh, there we go. I was in such a rush after being on the call with the credit union. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was upside down all this time. Yeah, that's better. The lamp is still extremely bright and you can't see the picture. Ah! Okay, well, back to this drawing. Yeah, I normally have my camera on the right side so that I don't accidentally bump it with my left hand, since that's my drawing hand. But in order to reach the computer with the current setup I have, it has to be on the left side. So I forgot to flip the camera around. That's what happened there. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this will look good. I don't know. I'm not sure. Since I'm straying from the reference image, it's kind of... I gotta keep experimenting with this. No, that doesn't look right. So the body is like this, so the tail should at least be down here. Let's try again. I feel like we're getting there. Maybe this tail's too long though. She's not a particularly long-tailed cat, kind of average. After all, she's our second smallest pet. Oh, that's a really cute tail too. Yeah, let's stick with that. Okay, now what? I think I might be actually done with the sketching part. I need to move on to the ink. So I'm done with my pencil. I can't remember what I used. I'm going to try and look at what I used for my Kibi drawing. Kiba. The last one that I did, Chibi Friday, cat, our smallest pet. Let's see. Looks like I use my Copic. Alright, my Sakura pens. I'm gonna close that now. Well, perfect, because here they are. But I like to lay them all out in order of size. Graphic 2, graphic 1, size 1. 005, size 2. I think there's only one more. Size 3? Yep. Just like to have them in order of size so that it's really easy for me to find the next one that I want to use. There's a kitty hair in my drawing bag. It's my fault for leaving it unzipped. Yep, there's no more. Okay. Oh wait, you know what? I did miss something. I need to draw her pupils. Let me bring that reference image back. There we go. I wonder if I can zoom in. Got this open on Google Photos. It zooms out way too much. Okay, zoom in. Use this slider bar. Just want to zoom out just a little bit. There. Okay. Now for her pupils. I always want to put these pencil caps on the end, and they don't fit on the end. They only fit on the front. Now I'm looking at it, I think I still have this ear curving too much. It's more straight. It's almost a straight line, not that curved. There. That's better. I forgot why I zoomed in. Oh yeah, her pupils. Getting so distracted. Cute little pupils. This one is kind of like further on the inside, and it's really around here. I shade these in with the graphite so that I remember that I may as well just ink them in totally instead of doing just an outline. There's sort of like this dark line here too, going all the way up her eye. That's pretty cool. I want to keep that. I want to ink that in. That's neat. Okay. Okay, now we're really done with the graphite. Now to start with, I think I want to do the outside in an 8, although she's a white. Most of her fur is white, so actually I'm going to do a 5. Because I don't want it to be too dark when her fur is white. But generally I like to do a thicker outline around the entire thing. So I'll just do that with a 5. Let's see, there's these little furs that always come off the tip of cats' ears. As long as they have fur. That goes down. And now this is where I wanted to do a little bit of fluffy lines. It mostly looks smooth. But you can see these little tiny little points of fur. And here it starts getting much bigger points of fur. Start splitting away from each other. Okay. And over here it's in shadow, so you're not seeing as many of those. It's kind of, it's not perfectly smooth, so I'm still doing a little bit of like wiggly lines. Here's some fluff. And the outside of the ear, I'm going to do it from this way down. And then these little ear tip furs, top of this ear. And here's where I was going to show those bumps of fur. So we'll do the outside of this ear. And it's sort of like this. Down over here. And it kind of goes even further down. and then a little one, and one more biggerish one there. Oh, starting to look more like her just by doing the fuzzy fur instead of the smooth lines. Now, for her back, you can totally see it's all fuzzy here. It's just perfectly fuzzy. So I'm only going to do little fuzzy lines. Here too. That's a slightly different angle. It doesn't come straight out like here, it kind of angled back. Now her tail, let me move this reference bit. Fluffs out here, and it's kind of smooth for a little while. It's kind of, and then it's smooth again. The inside is in shadow, and her tail is black, so it can't tell exactly what's going on here. So I'll just do a couple little texture lines there. Okay, now move the reference image up, and you can do her facial features. I guess I'll just keep using this 5, I don't know. No, I'll move down. I'll use a 3. I wanted to use the big one only for the outside. In fact, maybe I'll use a 2. Actually, I'm going to do this line for the ear first. And these couple of lines. Sort of fluffs out there. Here. Up there. Okay, now. Her eyes. Another thing I learned from one of those how to draw manga books that changed my world when it came to inking pictures was when you're inking, you don't have to make the lines touch. If you need to lift your hand to move farther down the page or whatever, for whatever reason, you don't have to make every single line connect with one another. As long as they're following the same general path, it's all going to look fine in the end. And that just blew my mind. And ever since then, I always keep that in mind. And sometimes I still start lines from where I left off, but I don't freak out if there's like one little gap in a line and it should be all one straight line like I used to. Because I'm such a perfectionist. It's like, oh, it's all messed up or whatever. I didn't do this, or the lines are mismatched where I tried to connect them and stuff. Not having to connect them just made it so much easier, and the end result was actually better because I wasn't freaking out anymore. It let me be more calm and just let it happen however it happens. It's just so interesting. I've learned so much from those how to draw manga books. But I tried once to do a webcomic in manga style and drew it by hand and everything, and that was a learning experience because I was like, this is not what I want to do. I do not want to make manga. I don't want to have to draw so much in so detail, and yet it is passed over, you know, because it's just part of the background or whatever. because the point of manga is not to like take your time looking at the art and appreciating every line and all the background detail and all that. The point is to read a story and have a great time experiencing whatever the author has to tell. And I'd just like people to take a little more time looking at my art than that. Plus, I don't feel very confident as a storyteller. I don't think of stuff like that. I'm good at thinking of singular moments or vignettes or, you know, stuff like that, but not how am I going to tell this several chapter story or even like a single short story. Let's see, her mouth is a little fuzzy. Tiny little fuzz. That's why I like illustration, because like the most classic illustration I think people think of, at least what I think of, is illustrating books. And so the point of that is to illustrate a particular moment, a powerful moment, or a pivotal moment. And that's what I like, that one frozen moment in time. Or to illustrate a character that was introduced, whatever, you know. I think her lip is a little crooked. I'm gonna draw it outside of my sketch. And then I'm gonna fix the teeth to match this too. I don't want it to be crooked. Down it goes. There. I think that's better. Hopefully it's better. Okay, I've got all the basic inking. I'm definitely gonna go and fill some stuff in, but I may as well wait until I erase. But I want to let it dry for just a second. Put it under a lamp. These lamps are super hot, so I figure they probably help my drawings dry. Okay, I'll start erasing from the completely outside, the area where I didn't even actually draw anything, but where I probably smeared some graphite from my hand. So erasing the outside just makes the whole picture nice and clean. And then it gives that last area of ink more time to dry as well. I just realized I forgot to put my glasses on. It's like, it's kind of hard to see these little lines. Oh, because of my glasses. Ooh, and I missed some spots. Swipe this clean. I forgot to do these little whisker spots. These I'll probably use a tinier pen because they're not actually black. It's just that they're pretty dark shadows. This part of her face. There. Since that was so little ink, it probably won't take very long to dry. Still some eraser shavings on here. Okay, nice and clear. Yeah, this is looking good so far, I think. Okay. Let's erase. Actually, I want to put my glasses on, dang it. I always forget because I don't need them to see, technically. I just need them to see the best possible and not get a headache when I work for a long time. And when I say headache, I mean horrible migraine. Oops. Okay, I'm looking for any little spots I might have missed that need a little bit of extra eraser. I wonder if I can... I didn't have time either to verify my settings were good. I'm going to see if I can edit this a bit on the fly for my video. See if I can get this to look less bright. It's just insane. It's too... Oh, maybe that's better. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, hopefully you can see that change. I'm still just learning so much about live streaming. Something on here. Is that a spot? I don't know what that is. That's just made of paper. A little tiny shiny spot on there. Wasn't sure what the heck. I think I got this pretty good. Let's take one more close look. Alright, that looks good. So now I'm done with the erasers. Putting this big one. Now it's time for some detail inking. First I'm just going to use this size 8 to get these big black areas around her eyes. And almost the whole rim of her eye is pretty dark. But not all the way. It's kind of like down to the pupil. It's pretty dark, but then past that, it's her white fur that you see more. I think those meet. Okay, and a little smaller one. to transition this big thick line here into the smaller one, to the thinner one, I mean. Thinner, not smaller. There. Anything else super dark on this eye? No. Do a couple little lines, bring that dark line all the way up. Now for this other eye, it's in shadow, so there's actually quite a bit of dark. There's only the tiniest bit of highlight right here, and a couple little dots right there, but the whole eye is really, really dark. It's dark all the way across the top. This little corner is completely black. It comes out a little bit like that. And then this actually doesn't go very far right here, because this is the part where there's that one shining spot in her eye, in her iris, where the sun is really catching it. And of course her pupil is all black. And the line underneath, I think I will do that with a small one so that I can make the line fade to small. Because it's all gradual. Not like it just suddenly thicker. It gradually, slowly gets thicker. But it is pretty dark even into the corner of her eye. It's just so shadowy here on this side of the eye. And in fact, it's like black right here because of the shadow. But the rest is mostly pink, so I'll just leave that part. Maybe even a little bit of line here. Almost. I should bring this out a little bit even more. That was size 1. I'm gonna go to 2. This little Kiki has the cutest little outline on her nose. This little black fur or something, maybe it's just her skin color. Black along the top, down this corner side here, and down the other corner side, up a little bit. And along here it's dark because it's just inside the nostril, so it's just shadowy. Then it's really dark up this divide here, and here as well. Okay, next thing is her mouth. It's pretty dark, but it's not completely black. There's some still like little pink spots. So I'm going to do just some lines, and then we'll fill it in with pink marker so that the pink shows through the way it does in real life. Well, it's really dark in here because it's also in shadow. It's black and also in shadow. This a little pink around. You can see the pink gums around there, around that tooth. There. And then in her mouth, I'm going to do some curved hatching because it just gradually gets brighter in here. More illuminated towards this side. I think that looks really good. Now I've been thinking whether I should do any black for her fur pattern because she's got black and gray and tan tabby pattern on certain spots, like right here. And you can barely see, but in the Chibi version, you barely can't even tell. And then her tail is a tabby tail. But I think with Kiba, and he's a fully black cat, I didn't do any ink for his fur, I just used a marker, so I think that's what I'll do with Kiki too. So we're done with these, I think. Until I shine at the end. So I'll keep them handy. Now I need to move on to marker, but I need to, my markers are on the other side of the room. So I'm going to take a second, just put this over here, take a second and open those up, get the colors I want. I think I will start with her white fur. So I'll get a warm, either a warm gray or a neutral gray. I think I'll do warm just because kitties are warm and cuddly, so I'll make the colors warm too, so I'll be right back. Okay, and just getting every single warm gray from 0 to 10. Let's put them in order real quick. I think I'll need the whole range since the white fur will probably just use around this range, but the black fur I may as well continue using warm gray, so we'll definitely be using this range, so I'll just end up using the whole thing. But like with watercolors, you should really start, I learned this from experience, really start with the lightest colors first, because if you do dark first and then you do a light color over it, it can bleed into what you didn't want any dark color in, and it really sucks. There's just one super bright spot on her back here, which is right here, so I'm not going to put anything there. No color at all, so that it's as bright as it could possibly be on this paper. Just starting with 0, warm gray 0, and well, you can see it right there. I'm not going to do anything on the tail yet because it's completely black and gray. It's completely dark. Her face, let's see, the shadow comes from, you know what, I think I'm going to ink this part. I never even sketched it, but where her mouth comes down and it's her chin, I want to depict that with ink. And I think I'll just do the other side with marker. So now I'm not going to touch that side yet. I'll move up to the nose or something. See, nose comes like this. Yeah, it's super bright right here and along here. Kind of using this marker just to outline these areas first. These areas where it's so bright that I definitely should not put any color at all down. Oh no, it was still wet there. Oh, I need to be more careful. Smeared the ink a little bit, it must have still been wet. It's one of those things that's really hard for me to learn. Be careful, let it absolutely dry. But I want to move on. Oh, dang. This whole area. Okay, I gotta stop for a second. I'd hoped this would all be dry by the time that put it on a different lap. By the time I got my markers, but I guess not. It's smearing a lot. These Sakura pens are definitely alcohol marker proof once they're fully dry. But if you put down a lot of ink in one place, it can actually take a surprising amount of time to get completely dry. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this Kiki today. At this rate. I think it's because I decided to do this really unique pose. So I had a lot of trial and error getting that sketch done. I think it'll be worth it in the end though. It's looking pretty good. Oh wow, that like bent the paper. Okay, let's try. Hopefully it will not smear. No more smearing. Okay, I gotta use the big end. Big enders. That's from Gulliver's Travels. I love that book. So amazing. I'd seen this cartoon adaptation a lot when growing up, and then there was some sort of like NBC special that had some famous people in it, but I can't remember any of their names. But I adore that special. I love it so much that when it was finally released, I think on DVD, because it was made before there was HD TV. There's no point in a Blu-ray or something. But I was just like on it immediately, no hesitation. It's the only way I'd been able to see it before was because my dad worked at the local television station, so he had copies of it on VHS. And watched the heck out of the copies. Just loved it. And there were some big differences from the book or whatever, but it's not like the whole point was there. The message that was meant to be transmitted from the book Gulliver's Travels was still there. So when I said big end, I was like, oh, big enders. Because the fight between the Lilliputians and the, I guess the big enders. There were big enders and little enders. And they were fighting this horrible bloody war against each other. And what they were fighting over was whether you should crack your eggs at the big end or the little end. It was just great. So brilliant. Because that's the kind of thing that we do fight over as a human species. We fight over the most ridiculous things. Like, oh, can't believe these people would crack their eggs on the big end. They're the most horrible people alive, or whatever. People are really like that. They don't think that their problems with others are so ridiculous, but they are. I just really love the whole message of that book. Just makes you think hard about what you're doing. The things you care about, are you caring about them for a good reason, or I don't know. It had so many messages too. Each land that Gulliver goes to has a different message. And it's hilarious too. Like, the book is really funny too. It's not just like all serious, like examine your life, reader, or whatever, or anything like that. It's like a parody. Dang, makes me want to read it again. I finished reading it for the first time a few years ago, and I enjoyed it so much that I would really like to read it again. It's one of those books that I read on my Kindle for free. The whole reason I wanted a Kindle was so I could read all the public domain books that I've always wanted to without having to buy a bunch of them. It's not like the authors are getting paid for that anymore. And some of them I've been like, ugh, I don't get why this is a classic. I don't get why this is a must-read book. But other ones, like Gulliver's Travels or The Count of Monte Cristo, is just like, ah, these are so amazing, even though they were in like 100, 200 years ago. Just freaking amazing. Wait, leave that space. Hey, let's move on to another darker color. Warm gray one. Her back still. Warm gray 0, you can't even really tell the difference between the white paper and where I put it down. Where I put the warm gray 0 down. I'm gonna leave that super bright spot. And then on her eye here, bright area, and underneath that. And then there's a line around here. And right here on her cheek, and along her lip is not dark. Okay, get the big end again. Start filling this in. Please, no smear the ink. Even though this is white fur, it's still got a lot of areas that are going to have to get even darker than this. I think right under her eye is pretty dark on this side. Let's go back to the small end. Her ears are all pretty dark. The tabby pattern is for the most part on her ears. Except for the one little cute corner that looks like a pig ear to me because it's pink. Pink with black. This area is actually pretty dark all along here and here. This is like totally bright. Let's leave that. Start to be a little more careful. I need to be more careful now, not to overshade, because her fur still needs to look white. This is the darkest side of her body right here. Plus, there's going to be a black patch right there. So these lines sort of have their own shadow. And right here is much darker. Maybe a little bit right there. Definitely this part of her mouth is really shaded. And it sort of continues down into this whole side of her face. To this under part of her eye. And there's just a little line right here. And maybe right here is kind of dark. Right here, where this part curves inwards. And on top of her nose. Side. And along here. These little fuzzies are all pretty dark along the edges. Starting to think maybe I need to get some refill markers for these gray markers. It's coming out alright on the big side. And a the little side it's feeling a little dry. And right here from this tip to this line on the ear is dark. And pretty much all in the ear, except the very tippy top. Outside of the eye a little bit. This part is still pretty dark here. So looking here. Maybe a little bit here too. Go in line with these wrinkles. Comparing this to the photo reference, I think there's still even darker areas that I need to address. It's like this part on her chin is just so dark. Along this lip, this part is super in shadow. All the way down. And then here, these are sort of curving down with the cheek. And then it's darker after the curve. And there's this line right here that the eye makes. And it's also darker behind this line. But then the nose is casting a shadow. It comes up and curves down. And it's on the eye, but not all the way. It comes up like this. And it does get kind of hard to see because this is where the black tabby pattern is on her coat. There's also this inside corner is a bit darker. I think I can do this whole ear except for along the upper edge. How's that? It's like a little darker right here. Just a little shaded pattern. The only thing that seems darker in this ear is like right there and right here. And then of course the back of the ear is just like black from her tabby pattern. Bring some more of these lines up here. She has just the slightest little under eye shadow right there. And it's on this side too, so let's do that one. You can barely see it in the picture, but that's the kind of thing I like to bring out in a drawing. Looking it over, of course I can do more detail once I move on to colored pencils to really make the super bright parts pop. And I can use colored pencil, or I can even use some white ink. Now I think there's still this part right here where her mouth is. It's absolutely so dark, so I'm going to move on to yet another darker color. I really want to get this dimension so she doesn't look flat. And it always looks darker when you first apply it. It's the same thing with watercolors again. With alcohol markers, it looks darker because it wets the page. So, you know, when you get paper wet, even if you just get water on it, the paper itself looks darker. So it's because of the paper simply being wet that the color looks darker. So you kind of gotta let it dry, and then you can really see what the final color is. This ear is super dark, except for the guard hairs. Those are really bright, but I'll use a white ink pen to get those. It's just this upper edge is also catching the light, so I'm making sure not to get that too much. Actually, this side of the body is pretty much the same. Pretty much the same darkness. I'm doing the squint your eyes trick to get the... If you squint your eyes when looking at a picture, you can see contrast much better. You lose the detail and you can see the contrast between light areas and dark areas like a million times better. I learned that in art school, and it was like something I do all the time now. Ever since I learned it, it's so useful. That's why I thought going to school for art was useful, because the degree doesn't mean anything, but being in a class with people who are professional artists or who have gone through the program before, teaching you, watching you make art as you're doing it, not just like looking at your piece when you're done and then critiquing it. Then they can watch your technique and help you improve it on the fly, like as you're making a piece. Super useful. That's why someday I'd like to go back and finish my degree, so I can get all of those cool lessons and stuff that I never did. I learned a lot from the few. I went to about 2 years of part-time classes. I mostly focused on my general ed stuff before that. And then I got a tech job that was so good I was like, I can't handle both, and this job is actually making me money. So I focused on that for a long time instead, but I am so glad to be back to art, because this is what I really enjoyed doing this. Now, this part of the fur is actually darker right here, right? Just a little bit under the chin. That's how we get that line for the other side of the mouth. It's just from shadow. Pretty light shadow. I think maybe this is good for the white part of the fur with marker. It's kind of hard to tell without the black tabby parts. So I want to move on to those, and then I'll just be careful if I need to add more to the white areas. Be careful not to smear the darker colors into it. I'll start with this W6 back here on her ear and try to get this little tiny patch. With the chibi proportions, it's just the tiniest little patch. You can barely even tell. And it does come all the way down. And this follows up, and it's really dark for the most part, except once you get to the tip, it has that cute, like pot-bellied pig pattern. I don't know, those pigs that they have both black and pink spots in their ears. That's what Kiki's ears remind me of. This corner is all dark too. Kind of curves up here. But then it's white fur here. Here it's dark fur. It's kind of interspersed right there. And it's all pretty much all dark fur up along the top of her head. I want to get this pattern. It's not perfectly even, it's uneven. It comes down right here, really close to her eye right here. Goes up. And another one comes down, but not nearly as far. And another one quite like it. And this one is way over here. And then one final big patch, but it still doesn't come down quite as far as that other one. And then it's sort of tan and white. Not super dark here, except this back part of the ear. Maybe right here. And right in here. The rest is pretty light. Do a couple lines coming in there. That down. That's just the first layer of color. Gonna move on to some darker stuff. I'm trying not to get confused. This is the body, and this is just a little part of the ear sticking out. I'm trying not to color the body in, thinking it's part of the ear. I keep wanting to do it, and then my mind realizes soon enough. It's like, no, stop. Pretty dark right there. I think most of the ear is going to be covered up with white lines to represent the guard hairs, so I don't need to do too much in the ears. But right here it comes down pretty far, and there's sort of like a line of dark here, and it's really peppered right here. Just dark and light fur peppered. Comes all the way down. Then this part is super dark. I'll probably end up going over it again. And all along the top of her head, it's like one long dark line following these ridges. And next, there's a spot right here, and there's a thin line right here. This one's nice thick soft. And then this is all super black. And this is peppered again, right here. Has a general shape, but mostly peppered. There, just a little bit. And the back of this ear is super dark. And we'll do just a few in here, just to make it more interesting. here it's starting to look like Kiki. Starting to look like Kiki. Her tail right now, I don't even have it in my reference photo. I need to zoom out a little bit. So although her head has a lot of tan also, the tail is like mostly black. It's like really light stripes and then black. So actually I'm going to go to a lighter color. Those stripes, they're still darker than, stripes on her tail are still darker than the white fur. And there's just this heavy contrast between the stripes and the dark part of her tail, which I think is really cute because it's not just like perfect rings. The top of the tail has a stripe straight down, and then the rings come out from that. Let's see, Worm 7. Try Worm 7 first, and the tip is totally black. Then it's like, so this actually has her tail sort of laying on its side. It comes out, it's pretty much straight up and down here, but then it comes over here. It's another one of those things, I would have just made it as if the tail was all straight up and down, but looking at this reference image, I see that's not actually the case. Okay, I have to remember to reverse the shading since I reversed the tail. Oh, it's looking like Kiki. Oh, it's looking like Kiki. It's looking like Kiki. Okay, I want a little more shadow on this fluff right here. Kind of bugging me. Yep, I knew as soon as I started getting more dark on here for the fur pattern, I'd be able to see better areas that need more shading. But I think I want to go much darker still. It's only on 7. Let's just kind of want to just jump to 10. Jump all the way to 10. Because these are absolutely black areas where you don't even see any. You can't even see any reflection of light on them. They're so dark. And right here, super dark. And all along this part of the ear. This little corner. And maybe some little couple lines here and there. And this part, definitely just super black. And all the way across, same story. Right here. A little stripe, I won't make that, but I'll bring it down a little bit. And right here, super black. These just a few lines. The back of this ear, I'm gonna do it the same way. Super dark. And the side patch too is pretty. There. Anywhere else, I'm gonna make just the tiniest little dots right there. Some right here. A few dots on these parts. It's the tiniest little thing. Wow, yeah. It's really starting to look like Kiki. think I'm going to call it good here today because it took so long with the sketch part that I only have less than 15 minutes until my normal cutoff time for streaming. And there's no way I'm getting all the marker and then all the colored pencil details and then all the white ink details done in 13 minutes. So I'm gonna call it finished for today. I got all these warm grays. I think I'm done with them. I think I'm ready to move on to the other colors. So that's what I'll do next Friday. I'll continue this chibi next Friday. And for today, thank you for watching.